Rounding decimals to the nearest whole number. This thing of rounding, it's what we use in schools. What it means is approximation, or more or less what is the number. For example, if you spend $1.99, you don't normally think of $1.99, you think of $2. That's basically what rounding is. So how do we do it? Very often we need to round to the nearest whole number. Sometimes we round to the nearest tenth, sometimes we round to the nearest 10, but this particular video talks about rounding to the nearest whole number. But if you understand this, the rest becomes a lot easier. What is a whole number? Whole numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and carrying on forever. So 1.3 is not a whole number because it has 0.3 added to the 1. We know our columns. Where are the whole numbers? They're all there. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, and so on. We're not going to bother going all the way. And all the fractions there you can see are in grey. Those are decimal fractions. So let's look at the number 1.4. Now, the number 1.4 on the number line lies between 1 and 2. Let's have a look at that. 1.4 lies between 1 and 2. Let's have a look at it. There is 1 there. There is 2 there. So 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. So we now have to look at this and say, well, what is the closest whole number to 1.4? Is it 1 or is it 2? It's obviously not 3 and it's obviously not 0. And you can see quite clearly that the answer is it's closer to 1. So we round it to 1. We say that 1.4 is approximately equal to 1. That sign there means approximately equal to. You cannot put an equal sign there because 1.4 does not equal 1. You can also call it 1.0 if you want, but they ask for whole numbers, may as well just put the whole numbers. So both of those are correct. 1.8. 1.8 lies between 1 and 2 on the number line. Let's have a look at it. There's 1, there is 2, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8. Now, if we were asked to round 1.8 to the nearest whole number, which whole number is it closest to, 1 or 2? And the answer is that it's closer to 2. You can see that. So 1.8 is approximately equal to 2 when you round it off to the nearest whole number. So 1.8 rounded to the nearest whole number is 2 or 2.0. Up to you. 5.3. Now, where does 5.3 lie on our whole number line? It lies between 5 and 6 because you started at 5 and you're counting up. So notice part of the number line is missing. I'm not going to go from all the way from 0 up to 5. We don't need that. So we're at 5. We go 5.1, 5.2, 5.3. And if you have a look at that, you can see 5.3 is much closer to 5 than it is to 6. So if I said to you, please round 5.3 to the nearest whole number is 5. 5.3 rounded to the nearest whole number is 5, or 5.0. So go 5.6. 5.6 also lies between 5 and 6 on the number line. There it is, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5, 5.6. Which is the closest whole number? Is it 5 or is it 6? And the answer is it's 6. So 5.6 rounded to the nearest whole number is 6, or 6.0. So look at 5.5. Now, 5.5 also lies between 5 and 6 on the number line. So let's go. 5, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, 5.4, 5.5. Now, if you look at the number line, you go, well, it's halfway. It's the same distance from 0 as it is from 5 as it is from 6. And when we round If something is halfway, it gets rounded up. So 5.5 rounded to the nearest whole number is 6. Just remember, halfway always goes up, or 6.0. Let's look at 7.2. 7.2 lies between 7 and 8 on the number line. There's 7. I'm not doing all the rest of the number line, a waste of time. 7.1, 7.2. You can see very clearly 7.2 is much closer to 7 than it is to 8. So 7.2 rounded to the nearest whole number is 7, or 7.0. Let's have a look at, sorry, don't need that, 0.4. 0.4 lies between 0 and 1 on the number line. There is 0, there's 1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. What is the closest whole number? We've been asked to round to the whole number, and you can see that it is 0. So 0.4 rounded to the nearest whole number is 0, or 0.0. Right, it's time for you to check your understanding. There are 30 of these guys. If you do the first few on paper, that's fine. Remember, I will put the question up like that. Number 1, when you see the number come up, the question asks you to say, for example, 7.2 lies between what, and 7.2 rounded to the nearest whole number is what? Remember, you can round to the nearest tenth in some numbers, but this video is about nearest whole number. So I would suggest that, particularly with the first few, you pause the video and try really hard to get it accurately answered, and then check your answer. Right, pause the video and we'll go on to the answer pretty soon. 7.2 lies between 7 and 8. 7.2 rounded to the nearest whole number is 7. 9.4, pause, continue. It lies between 9 and 10, and 9.4 rounded to the nearest 10 is 9. Pause, continue when you're ready to carry on. 12.5 lies between 12 and 13 on the number line. 12.5 rounded to the nearest whole number is 13. Pause and continue. 16 and 17 are the two whole numbers on either side, but 16.7 rounded to the nearest whole number is 17. Right, now I'm not going to keep saying pause. You just need to do that if you need to. 30 and 31, and 30.2 rounded to the nearest whole number is 30. 39.6 lies between 39 and 40. 39.6 rounded to the nearest whole number is 40. 0.7 lies between 0 and 1. 0.7 rounded to the nearest whole number is 1. 65.4 lies between 65 and 66. 65.4 rounded to the nearest whole number is 65. 11.1 lies between 11 and 12. 11.1 rounded to the nearest whole number is 11. 120.2 lies between 120 and 121. 122.2 rounded to the nearest whole number is 120. 24.6. 24 and 25 are the whole numbers on either side of that number. 24.6 rounded to the nearest whole number is 25. 20.5. lies between 20 and 21. 20.5 rounded to the nearest whole number is 21. 126.3. 126 and 127. 126.3 rounded to the nearest whole number is 126. 0.5 lies between 0 and 1. 0.5 rounded to the nearest whole number is 1. 13.2 lies between 13 and 14. 13.2 rounded to the nearest whole number is 13. Now for the rest of these, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let the slides take over and you pause and continue as you need to. Remember, you could have 0.0 here, that's fine, but there's no point. Don't get tricked here. Remember, it's whole numbers only. We're rounding to the nearest whole number. That 9 plays no part in the rounding at all. We're rounding to the nearest whole number, so it's only the tenths that we are concerned with. Again, even though this has 9 hundredths and 9 thousandths, we're only worried about rounding to the nearest whole number. This number lies between 0 and the next whole number is 1. And I see I've made a mistake here. This should be 0 and 1, but the bottom part is correct. Sorry, 0 and 1. And here is another mistake. This should be 23. I will fix that up and redo the video. That should be 23, not 24. Right, you probably find if you had problems with that, if you watch the video again and go through those again, it's worth it. It really helps you understand approximation. It helps you understand decimals with tenths and whole numbers. So I hope you found that helpful, guys.